Foster?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, Your Honor, Judge, sir, ma'am, you know, my daughter who I love dearly, but she is one lazy, sorry, using person.
What is she doing?
So, she didn't have to, I let her move into my house 3 years ago, and she got 2 twin boys. She does nothing to support. Our agreement was that she would pay $400.
We never had no agreement. We ain't never had no agreement.
$400 on rent.
Hold on 1 second, Miss Faye Foster. Excuse me.
Today's case is packed with emotional tension and deep-rooted family issues. A mother is dragging her own daughter to court, not for custody, not for crime, but because she claims her daughter is lazy, ungrateful, and financially irresponsible. You heard that right. Family drama just got legal. Let's break it down.
That she would pay $400 a month, plus she would pay $275 a month, so I'll put her kids in insurance.
Okay.
And since she's been there, she's maybe giving me a total in 3 months of $200. It's always some excuse why she couldn't pay. And I told her, I'm on a fixed income, you know, and I'm doing all this for you and the kids. I'm buying the food, paying the electricity, you know. I'm the one get up and take them to school in the morning while she sleeps, you know, and she has a job. Plus she does braiding people's hair on the weekend.
Where does she work? What does she do?
She works at a telecommunication company.
Okay.
And I think she said she's a customer service somebody thing, but
she braids hair on the side.
Ma'am.
You say she braids hair on the side?
Yes, she does. In my back room.
All right.
And her clients come in, she give her clients snacks and stuff I don't bought for the kids, and just like she don't bought something. So I told her, you gonna have to start doing better.
All right.
And she told me.
Wait a minute, Miss Faye Foster, let me stop you really quickly.
Okay.
You said she braids hair in the home. Do you know how much money she makes roughly on average a month?
Well, I know she charges about $300 to $400 depending on the length of your hair. Mm-hmm. And she normally on the weekend do at least 3 to 4 heads.
Okay.
So I would say on the average, if we just do the lower end of it, she probably works about $1,200 on a Saturday. And sometimes she does it on Sunday, but most of the time it's on Saturday, all day Saturday.
So about $1,200 every week.
Did you catch that? The daughter interrupts her mom, saying they never had an agreement. But mom claims she was promised $400 a month. Someone's not telling the full story. Is this a classic case of he said, she said? Or is someone straight up lying? Engagement question. Who do you believe? The mother trying to stay afloat or the daughter claiming there was no deal?
Okay, so I told her, I said, well, you can give me some of that, you know, to help out and on you living here and me taking care of the kids, and I'm using the gas to go take them to their soccer practice and to their football practice. And she tells me, you their grandmother, you supposed to do that.
Oh.
And I told her, I ain't supposed to do a darn thing. I ain't had no twins.
Okay.
You know, but I love my grandkids, so I hate for them to be without just because their mama is trifling.
Okay. All right. So we're going to not name call either, okay? I understand you. I understand your emotions are high. It's not a problem. I understand.
I'm sorry, y'all.
I understand exactly how you feel. I know what you're saying. It's plenty of grandmothers coming this court feel exactly the same way that you do. I just ask that, you know, you just be respectful to one another.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, you.
That's okay. Now, how old are the twins?
The twins are 10.
All right. And you said they're boys?
They're boys, 2 boys.
All right. Are they involved in any kind of extracurricular activities?
Yes, they play football and they play soccer and basketball.
All right. And does mom help out with any of that?
No.
Here's the kicker. The daughter is reportedly making up to $1,200 a week from side braiding gigs, right in her mom's house. That's nearly $5,000 a month. Yet she's barely contributing $200 total over 3 years? That math ain't mathing.
Every night, you know. But that's why she's supposed to be paying me $400 for them to live there.
Okay.
Because she got put out of her last place. So I said, okay, you can come home. But, you know, I'm on a fixed income, so if you give me $400 a month, and then she said, okay. And I think she may have paid $200 one time, and that's it.
All right. Are the children on health insurance or anything?
And then, ma'am?
Are the children on health insurance or anything?
The children, I put them in insurance because I asked her, do you have insurance on these kids? And she said, I can't afford it. So I said, well, they need insurance. They playing sports and stuff, and they get sick, and we don't have out of pocket. So I've got insurance, and she agreed that she would pay me back each month what I had to pay for insurance.
How much do you pay for the children only?
The children only is $275.
$275. Okay. All right.
Judge Vanderby is doing her best to keep order, but the pain in the mother's voice is real. She's raising twin boys, covering food, insurance, transportation, all on a fixed income. And instead of gratitude, she's being dismissed as just the grandmother. Let that sink in. Engagement. Question. Would you step in like this if your grandkids were at stake?
I mean, what's all that about? The huffing, puffing?
Because she's lying. She's telling half-truths and sitting over there in her Christian outfit like everything she's saying is the gospel. Yes, me and my children did move in with her 3 years ago, but what she didn't say was, it's because I had a tragic divorce with my ex-husband who her and her church members just wanted me to marry this guy because he was so churchly and good, and he ended up being the devil. And in our divorce, he wiped us clean.
Okay.
And my credit was messed up. He took all the money and he left, and he did all of that, and so it left us devastated. So my mother said that it was cool for us to come and stay with her while I get things together, and
so let me
get back on our feet.
I understand all of that, but let me ask you a question. Just to fill in the gaps, right? So is it true what she said that you're supposed to give her
3 years. That's how long this so-called temporary stay has lasted. And according to Mom, her daughters made no real moves to get out. No job hunt, no savings plan, no housing search, just excuses and side hustles.
any agreement for you to give her any money to financially support your children?
She said to...
No, that was a yes or no.
Not in that way. Not in that way.
So explain the way.
So when we talked initially, before even moving in, it was, y'all just come, just take your time, get yourself together. I got you guys. I got my grandbabies, who she was very instrumental in, I want grandbabies, I want grandbabies, I want grandbabies, I want grandbabies, I want grandbabies. So I'm giving you the opportunity.
So she's instrumental in wanting grandbabies, that means that she has to take care of them too?
It doesn't mean she has to take, I'm saying she's not telling the full story how it is. It was never an agreement on a dollar amount of being able to help. It's just do what you can when you can.
So was there ever an agreement for it to be a temporary situation?
Well, yes.
You'd agree with me that 3 years is no longer temporary, right?
I would say it's no longer temporary, but in the moments where I would say, you know what, I'm gonna do what I can to see what I can to get, it was her, the one that was talking about, oh, that's not a good place for my grandbabies, or you don't need to take them over there, and I worry about y'all's safety over there, and that's too far, and that'll be taken.
When the daughter finally speaks, we learn about a tragic divorce and financial ruin. But is that enough to excuse not contributing a single dollar in months? She says there was no formal agreement. But isn't doing your part as a parent just expected? Engagement. Question: does a tough past justify present neglect, or is that just more avoidance?
She pays for everything for your children. She feeds your children. She takes them to school. She pays for health insurance. She's literally doing everything. You're doing nothing.
But that's her story. I'm doing more than so. I'm doing exactly what I can. I cook, I clean, I do what the stuff she asked me to do for church.
Hold on. Cooking and cleaning for a house that you reside in, you don't get any credit for that, okay? You should do those things, right? But in terms of your children, what are you doing? Because she said she's doing it all. Everything I just named off. You have yet to dispute that.
Well, I do stuff for their school. You're not always the one taking them to school,
Okay,
mommy. I don't even know why you in here acting like you do that.
Let's not derail this thing because you never answered my original question.
So
do you plan to move out with your children, or do you
Judge Vandeby isn't having it. She quickly reminds the daughter that cleaning and cooking in a home you're living in rent-free doesn't earn extra points. And when it comes to the kids, it's the grandma, not the mom, who's doing all the parenting. Re-avoidance?
you trying to move out?
Like, ASAP, because this is ridiculous. Like, I can't even believe you brought me in here with this
When you
foolishness.
say ASAP, do you mean that you're going to leave court today and go find somewhere?
I mean, no, I'm gonna have to like get on my hustle, to like try and figure out, where I'm gonna go and, what I'm gonna do and how much is that gonna take.
What are we looking at in timeline? Because we know the boys are gonna stay with her when this happens. So timeline, give me a reasonable timeline that you're talking about doing this.
Within the next 2 months, I would say.
2 months, okay. That's exactly what I needed to know.
I ain't trying to stay where I ain't want it.
Well, I don't think that's what she's saying, ma'am. She's just saying she wants a little bit of assistance. She's not saying she's not willing to help you. That's not a fair assessment. How much money do you make a year?
At this point, probably around about 25.
25,000?
Yes, sir.
All right. You actually make more than that because we're going to deem that braiding as income. Now, she said you make about $1,200 a week. Is that true?
That is not true.
How much do you make a week?
It just fluctuates on how my clientele
Well, let's just do it by average then.
After more dodging, we finally get an answer. The daughter says she wants to move out, but not with the kids. She wants to go figure things out while grandma continues full-time parenting. It's not abandonment, but it's dangerously close. Engagement. Question. Would you leave your kids behind to get back on your feet? Is that self-care or selfish?
On a monthly basis, how much money do you say you bring in from braiding hair?
I would say monthly. Monthly, I would say $1,200.
Monthly, $1,200?
Yes, because I
And
don't
you do
get,
3 or 4 heads?
I don't get heads. I don't get heads all the time. And some of the people she see me braid is like some of my girlfriends who, if I braid their hair, like they'll do my nails or they'll do my lashes or they'll grab my kids from school for me if I need them to. It's like we help each other out. So I'm not always getting money.
Do I look like I was born yesterday?
No.
Right. So you want me to sit here and believe that braiding hair and you're charging how much per head?
It just depends. I mean, shorter ones, 80, longer ones, like 250.
That's not what she says, and she lives in a house
But she's not.
with
She's
you.
not working with my clientele, and it really.
So you don't tell her how much you get paid?
No, because she really huff and puff around the house, and really the only reason we here because my boyfriend Tank Daddy, who she was dating, broke up with her, and she was pissed about it, and so I didn't agree with the situation. So that's the only reason why we really here is because she mad because I didn't take her side in the situation. When grown folks gonna do what grown folks gonna do, and that ain't none of my business. But I'm the one getting the brunt from it. I'm the one that's not doing something. I'm the one that's not doing what I'm supposed to do for my kids. So now it's an issue with my kids because her and my boyfriend's dad ain't in the right spot. And just because I didn't take her side. It wasn't no side to take. It ain't none of my business.
All right. And you know what? That's none of my business too, but let me tell you what is my business. I have your gross calculated at $3,283. That $1,200 that you just testified to, I'm deeming that as income in addition to what you make monthly. So that's how I got to that number, $3,283. That brings your net to $2,798. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right number. Yes, $2,798.
When pressed, the daughter claims she makes just $25,000 a year, but the judge isn't buying it. With a side hustle pulling in possibly over $1K a week, Judge Vandeby makes it clear that income counts, and it's time she starts acting like it.
$2,798. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right number. Yes, $2,798.18. Do you have any other children outside of the 2 boys?
No, I do not.
Okay, and you're also gonna pay for health insurance reimbursement to your mom. So, monthly child support comes out to $600 $99 was $670. We're gonna round it up. Plus, you have to do a reimbursement. Let me just make sure I don't go over the legal amount, because it can't be over 3%. So $2,798.18 times 3%. So your health insurance reimbursement to mom, although you pay $275, according to the law, it can't be, the health insurance amount that she reimburses you cannot be more than 3%. So that caps at about $84. So, no, because you need to pay for your own children, ma'am. Excuse me, I'm speaking. It's $754. It's what's in the best interest of the children. These are your children, not your mother's children. These are her grandchildren. And I went ahead and ordered that you pay child support, because based on your testimony, you'll be moving out in a couple of months anyway. So there we are. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, thank you, Your Honor, I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome. If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Don't say nothing to me.
In the end, this wasn't just a case about unpaid rent. It was about respect, responsibility, and the emotional labor parents and grandparents carry. Judge Van de Bee is likely to set a legal expectation for contribution based on income, not excuses. And hopefully this family finds more than just a court ruling. Maybe they'll find some accountability too. Call to action, CTA. If this story struck a nerve, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more powerful courtroom stories just like this. We've got more real talk, real cases, and real drama coming your way.